through SCORE. So you have joined us today for Financing a Business. We have Shankar Hegde with us today. He is one of our SCORE Boston mentors. He's an excellent mentor and has some knowledge that he's going to share with you today. So the other things that SCORE offers to small businesses are the main thing is really just sharing business information. And we do that in 3 different ways. One is through our website, score.org. You'll find templates, articles, videos, blogs, all kinds of great information. Encourage you to take a look at all that information. The other way we share information is through our workshops and webinars. Most are online. We do have quite a few in person coming up in the fall. So be on lookout for our newsletter. Look out for social media posts on the events that are coming up. And you can also look on the website for those upcoming events. The most important thing that SCORE does, however, is mentoring. And our mentors are volunteers, and they come to SCORE because they want to give back to the small business community. We're working with folks that are trying to decide if small business is right for them, those that are heavily into planning and getting things going, and those that already have a business. Perhaps they're growing or getting ready to sell their business. You name it, we have a mentor that can assist. If we don't in our own local chapter, we will definitely reach out to national level volunteers. As you can see, we have quite a few to pick from. So a beginning session is going to probably run around 45 minutes. And they want to know about you. They want to know what your goals are and what your challenges are, and they're going to work with you to come up with a plan. Oftentimes, they will also invite in other mentors or refer you forward to other mentors as your needs change. So it's a wonderful team and collaborative experience. And if you don't have a mentor, you really have to have one. It's a wonderful experience. So getting a mentor is very easy. Just go to the score.org website. They have a couple different ways to do it. The easiest is just to look for that blue box, put in your zip code, and that will put you to the chapter that's nearest you. Then a form will pop up and they'll ask a couple really quick questions and information to include in there, what your business is, what kind of things you need help with right now, or what a mentor can do to help you. And we will match a mentor to you to assist you. I do prefer to use the Q&A button. If you can put things in chat for sure, that we can have a lot of interaction through there, no problem. But if you have a question for our presenter today, Q&A works really well. That way I don't lose track of any questions. We are recording, and it will be posted in the next 24 to 48 hours, score.org/Boston. Look for local workshops on the blue bar and go down to the pull down for previously recorded. So that is my SCORE introduction. Let me switch to the other PowerPoint here and get that one ready for you. And we will start moving forward here. Let me get to give remote control to Shankar, and you should be able to advance those slides, and it's all yours, Shankar.
Okay. Yeah, okay, let me test it out. Okay, hold on. Somehow it's kind of a, all right, okay. Before I start on the agenda today, thank you, Teresa, for that introduction. Before I started for SCORE, I worked for a big company, then a small company, and then I started my own company. So many of the things here I'm talking about are from my own experience. However, the sources for financing were not that many at that time. It was some time ago. Now there are a lot more sources for financing a startup or financing a current existing business. So before I start, before I tell you about the sources, a couple of other things are, why do people start businesses? Then I'll tell you the ways of starting a business, because many of the people think there is only one way of starting a business, but it's not. So no matter how you start a business, the financing options are the same, or financing sources are the same. There are two or three, four different categories I have categorized here. One is owner financing. The other one I call, a bunch of them are called ecosystems, because all the sources of financing kind of add to the business ecosystem in the society. The third one is debt financing. It's the fancy word saying getting a loan. The next one is equity financing, wherein you give up a portion of your business or percentage of your business for getting the money. Then I get you some of the funding statistics and then open up for questions and answers. Okay, sometimes why stuck? Uh, Okay, some is stuck here, but we'll get through this. Why do people start businesses? Believe they have a unique product or service to sell, and that is valuable to somebody else. That's how you will get paid for your product or service. And many people want to be their own boss. There is nothing wrong with it. But this should not be the primary reason for starting a business. The primary reason is want to build something. That should be your primary reason. And many people want to get rich. There is again nothing wrong with getting rich. But again, that's not the primary reason. That is a byproduct. If you are successful, you will get rich. So your focus should be on how do you get your product or service, how do you get your business to be a successful business. In addition to the ways of starting a business, there is another way. It's called want to building a lifestyle business. YouTuber nowadays is a great example of that. There are lots of people have made or are making a lot of money on YouTube. You probably are familiar with YouTube channels on cooking, YouTube channels on travel, YouTube channel on singing, chanting, you name it. So again, if you look at some of the YouTube, there are millions and millions of hits. There are millions and millions of subscribers. So with the Google model, YouTube model, yes, you do get pretty healthy income every month. So absolutely, you can make a good living. Again, as I said, there are many kinds of businesses. There are products and services, professional practices like consulting, like accounting, and then there are some non-profits. There are three ways to start a business. One is probably everybody is familiar with or a very popular method is start from the scratch. Or you can buy an existing business, or you can license a brand or a business. That's called franchising. Starting from scratch. As you know, the big advantage is total control. You make all the decisions, you keep all the profits. That's the biggest upside. However, disadvantage is you have to create all the operating systems, and there is a higher failure rate. 1 in 10, I don't know the statistics recently, probably even lower than 1 in 10 businesses fail. 1 in 10 make it, 9 out of 10 fail. And it takes quite a few years to make money. Used to be 3 years, anywhere from 3 to 5 years before you make money. And there are lots of financing options, financing sources I will go through. But when you start applying for some of those things, it's not easy. There's a lot of competition for grants, a lot of competition for venture capitalists, for angel investors. So again, they will pick and choose, and funding the business they think will make lots of money for them. By the way, it can make money for you as well, but the funding decision is really based on how much money they can make for themselves. So that's why it's not easy to get the money. Buying an existing business is good advantage is the cash flow. Actually, the historical result you will know before you buy it. So you know the cash flow, and that is attractive to the lenders. So it's easier to get the loan for an existing business as long as there is plenty of cash flow so that you can return the money as well as you pay the interest monthly. So, and again, established location and established customer base. So there are operating systems are in place, and sometimes you may be able to get financing from the previous owner. So that's a good thing to do. However, the disadvantage is you just have to trust the cash flow projections and the cash flow for the last couple of years from the seller. And you will never know why the seller is selling the business. And the minute you own the business, some of the employees may quit. So that means you have to hire new employees, you have to do the training, and you have to do all the other things as well. Okay, now there is a third way of starting a business is called franchising. So advantage in that is the name recognition. There's a proven business system to start and operate your business. There are training materials are available, and then you're owning your own business, but as they say, but you are not alone. What that means is the franchise owner is going to help you. So there is a lower failure rate, especially you get the franchise that is already profitable, has a good brand name. Disadvantage is the operating systems or the how to operate your business is fixed. The franchise owner will tell you how you run the business. So in addition to that, there is a territory restrictions. That means you can operate your business, you can sell your product or service in a specific geographic location. And obviously, you have to pay the ongoing royalty to the franchise owner. So that means you cannot keep all the profit. Now, let's go on financing a business, sources of funding. The first and the foremost and the easiest one is owner financing. That means you start pitching in your own savings or any other liquid assets. Credit card is really, I would not advise unless you can pay the credit card, whatever you own on the credit card in time. However, there is another source is the home equity. So home equity is a good source for funding your business as long as you have obviously own a home or you have some equity in the home. Or you may be able to get some personal loan. If you are starting a business, it's easier to get a personal loan than a business loan because for getting a business loan, you have to be in operation for about 3 years. But never forget to ask your own friends and relatives. Again, it's not a charity. You always tell them there is a paperwork you can sign for the terms of negotiation, and it could be a loan that you will be paying with interest, or it could be an equity in your company so that when you go public or when you exit, they get their money. Obviously, they get a lot more money than they put in. So again, you don't be, like go and really ask your friends and relatives. And again, it's not a charity, so don't be ashamed or anything like that. So just go ahead. Now, there are a bunch of other things. I'm lumping them in ecosystems, as I said before. The first one is a business plan competition. The other one I'm going to spend a little more time is grants. Then the third category is I call them incubators and accelerators. They used to be separate, really. Now there is no distinction between incubators and accelerators. Used to be that incubators used to be the go-to when you just have an idea and they incubate your idea. They give you some funding, they give you some office space as well. And when you reach a certain stage, then you go to the accelerator, where they again give you some money. They will accelerate your progress to profitability. But now there is no distinction, and incubators are accelerators and accelerators are incubators. Then the next one is crowdfunding. You are probably familiar with some of them. So I'm going to go through some of those. Business plan competitions is very, very popular in universities, because most of the business plan competition I am outlining here are at the universities. Again, you don't have to be a university student. You can be working there, you can be a postdoctoral, or you can be an alumni. You probably are working somewhere else, but you went to MIT 10 years ago. You can still participate in this business plan competition. In this area, I'm outlining some other things. MIT is big. There are lots of different sources of MIT business plan competition. This MIT 100K is their flagship, but there are lots of other competitions as well. HBS, Harvard Business School, has again multiple sources of competition. One of them is New Venture. There are others as well. Babson has a few others. I am outlining two of them. Dartmouth has a bunch. UMass has a bunch as well. The U.Pitch used to be for university students, not anymore. Anybody can apply for U.Pitch, which is called futurefounders.com. Then there are other organizations, American Chemical Society, Draper Competition for Women. Then there is one is called Global Student Entrepreneurial Awards. Okay, the grants. Many of the grants outlined here are for women. I think there is a reason behind that is they all want to encourage women to apply for the grant and to be the owners of the small business. So the Amber grant for women, the first one is obviously for women. There is a 30,000, 10,000 each every month in 3 different categories. So that's for the next one is Alice for minorities and women. It's called Hello Alice. That's again is monthly. The third one is Girl Boss Foundation. This is specifically for African American women. So if one of you in the audience is African American woman, I would really encourage you to apply for that one. The Block Advisors is a recent one. It's H&R Block. All of you probably know this is the tax people. They have set up an award for women only again. This is 100,000 for the first prize, and then there are 4 different prizes. For each one is for a 12,500. The next one, FedEx Small Business Grant, is for anybody who has an account with Federal Express. You have to have an account for 6 months, then you can apply for the FedEx grant. NASE is National Association for Self-Employed. It's a small grant, about 4,000, but it's easier to get. And all these are now, they all are online application. So one thing I advise anybody who apply for any of these grants is you just apply and you just wait, nothing happens. Then you probably get a letter or you may be notified that you did not get the grant. Number one reason why you don't get the grant is you did not follow through. So somehow you need to contact the people who are responsible for making the decision. So all the names are online. So the question is, how do you get to them, right? So somehow you should be able to contact your friends, or the best way is LinkedIn. So through the LinkedIn, you find out who is your friend's friend or who is your friend, and there is a 3 degrees of freedom there. So you can get through somebody who knows somebody who is responsible for the grants. So that's the way you get an introduction and then you contact them. I would say you contact them after 2 weeks after you apply. And then you somehow have to get to talk to them, or somehow you can get to email them, or somehow you should be able to get a reply before they make a decision. Okay, now let's go on to the Cartier Women's Initiative Award. Is again the big one. It's all international awards. It's 100,000. In addition to all these mostly women-oriented grants, there is a state grant, and that's applicable in everybody in the state. This one had the first one has a database. Let me see whether I can click on it. Teresa, some of the link is not working.
Okay, it's opening on my other screen. That's why.
Oh, gee, I think we have to coordinate then. Okay. All right. So I can click on it now.
It should be, you see State Business Initiative Database.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now I got it. Okay. Now this one, I clicked on Massachusetts. It says currently there are 31 grants available. Okay. If you are in another state, this database, you click on the state you live in. However, there is a catch. This is put up by an organization called C2ER. So they want your money. This last time I checked, there was money, $362 or $72. So what I advise you is, before you go in here, you can always Google it, and you can always get to the state grant by a different way. But if you want your life to be easy, then you can pay $373, and then you can go through a lot of this grant through this site. Okay, now how do I get back to the, I should be able to, okay, there, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I won't be doing too many of these things. You can send all the links in the chat box or some other way. So this, yeah, this is state grant, and then another one is called Mass Growth Capital Corporation. Again, this is, they just started recently, I believe. And then there is a third one, is called Space Grant. Again, this is only in the state of Massachusetts, Space Grant. So if you are in a different state, I'm sure there is probably different grants available to you. So the Space Grant is Massachusetts. You should take a look at that. That's not difficult to apply. Many of these things, the application will take anywhere from half an hour to 45 minutes. Okay. Then the federal grants, there is the two different sites. But what I want to click on now, or Teresa can click on for me, I can click here, is SBIR. Okay, Teresa, if you can open up that one. Okay, great. So I want to spend some time here, because nobody really knows about this one, but this is called SBIR, STTR. If there is an innovative idea you have, innovative not just in the technical sense, innovative in the business idea as well. So then you can apply for SBIR if you are by yourself. However, if you are teaming up with a university, it's called STTR. So other than that, the details are the same. So now, if you look at this one, so now there is the way they have organized any of these. There are two phases. One is phase one is proof of concept. The other one is the real project for phase two. So look at the DoD, it's a big one. There's a $2.5 billion, close to 2.3. So this one is not just, you don't have to be a citizen. And it's just, it's not just a defense. DoD will allow you the grants for civilians. And then the project doesn't have to be serving the DoD. You can be making a lot of good for civilians by applying DoD grant. In fact, a couple of my SCORE clients, one of them really has gotten several SBIR grants from DoD. So I really encourage you to take a look at DoD in addition to the other grants as well. Department of Commerce, they reduced the amount here, only $15 million. When I got the grant some time ago, I got the grant for $3 million. That was from Department of Commerce. It's called NIST, National Institute of Standards and NIST, Standards and Trade. That is part of Department of Commerce. And that one, really, they will give you the grant for in any field, for any kind of a technology or not, any innovation in the business or any innovation in technology, NIST gives the grant. As is the Department of Agriculture, I think in the Department of Agriculture, innovation has to be related to the agriculture department or agriculture products and services. Again, Department of Education, Health and Human Services, anything to do with health sciences. Health and Human Services is 1.2 billion. Department of Energy, again, take a look at that one. It's quite a bit of money here. Department of Transportation, EPA, Homeland Security, NSF. In fact, a client of mine, current client, is in the process of applying to NSF. So that again, it doesn't have to be a scientific mind. NSF, take a look at that. Again, there are different fields. They will have the offer that SBI or a scholarship or funding or grants. So I really wanted to encourage you to take a look at SBIR, and you can call me or you can make an appointment. I can check out your idea, or I can check out your type of business you're planning on, and I can give you some idea whether your idea or your business qualifies to get an SBIR grant. Okay, these are some of the grants. Now, incubators and accelerators, again, some of these are in this area, in the New England area. The last one, again, even though it's in Massachusetts, there is a bunch of sources for life sciences in incubators in Massachusetts. Crowdfunding. Many of you are probably familiar with or heard about Kickstarter. It's not the only one. There is Indiegogo. The difference between Kickstarter and Indiegogo is it used to be, I haven't checked it last couple of months. Kickstarter is all or nothing. If you have a campaign, they call it, if you are looking for 150,000 and you say, I'm going to raise this in 6 months. So you raise 150,000, you get 150,000 minus their fees. However, if you only raise 100,000, the campaign is null and void. That means you don't get any money. So the money goes back to the funders. However, Indiegogo, I think you raise 150, you keep 150 as a goal, but you only raise 100,000, you get 100,000 minus their fees. Okay. Mighty Cause is one thing for the nonprofits, as well as the Patreon, I don't know exactly how you pronounce it. That is for the artists, specifically for artists. GoFundMe is really not for business funding. I did include it here because it's very popular. It's kind of emergency money. If somebody in your family somehow passes away, accident or quickly, or then you want to raise some money, your friends can put up a GoFundMe. Circle Up is another one. Fundable is another one. I have outlined Start Engine, the last one, but this is really interesting. This is a crowdfunding. At the same time, it is what I call it will take an equity. So you should take a look at it. It's a combination of equity plus crowdfunding. Okay, now debt financing is really the world of loans. Bank loan, the first one, a bunch of different kinds of bank loan. Revolving credit, they give you the money for the working capital or line of credit. And there are some micro lenders, Dorchester Bay, Seed Corporation, and everything else. They give you, it's not really a small change. They give you up to 50,000, anywhere from say 5,000 to 50,000. Now, the bank loans or the micro lenders, they really check your credit score and credit history, and also they check your ongoing business. Make sure that you are generating enough cash so that they get their money as well as they get their interest every month. So if your credit rating is not that good, you can always approach peer-to-peer lending. They obviously it's a higher percentage interest, but it is quicker to get the loan, much quicker than the bank loan. And you should apply for that. There are a bunch of them. Again, I have given you this link here for peer-to-peer lending. Now, the next one is the Community Development Financial Institutions, CDFI. Every state had this one. Take a look at the CDFI. Now, the next one is equipment leasing. It's really applicable for the big, if your equipment is hundreds of thousands, it's like a commercial kitchen equipment or construction equipment, you probably $100,000, you don't have 100,000, but you can go to any of these companies and they will get you the money right away. And then they will get you when your money comes from the equipment leasing. Similar to this one is invoice or receivable financing, the same thing. Suppose you have money coming in, say for 100,000, but the money is not coming in for 3 months, right? That's your terms with your customer. So you go to one of these, they lend you the money against the invoice, and then they get the money when you get the money from your customer. Again, they will charge you an interest, probably it's higher than the bank loan, but you will again get the money right away. Now, SBA, it doesn't have any money. It doesn't give you any loan, but it's called SBA loan. You know, the reason why they call it SBA loan is SBA guarantees the loan. So you apply at the bank. There are a lot of banks where SBA guarantees the loan. So you apply at a bank, your bank decides, not SBA. If bank says they're going to willing to give you the loan, it is an SBA backed loan, then you go to again, you deal with the bank all the time. You do not deal with SBA. Then bank underwrites the loan and you pay the money back to the loan. So where does SBA fit in? SBA does not work with you directly. SBA works with the bank, and it gives bank the guarantee, because as a startup, right, you don't have you don't have good really collateral, or you don't have a good credit score. So the SBA will look at it and then it will guarantee the loan to the bank. So for that, obviously, SBA charges some money to the bank. So when you get the loan from the bank, you don't pay the bank, plus you don't pay the SBA. you pay the bank. So they will take care of the SBA fees, so you don't have to worry about their fee. So the banks again wants to minimize the risk. So that's why the bank works with SBA. Then there are terms, there are different types of loan, flexible maturities, interest rates are as well. There are different interest rates, but really the interest cannot exceed the prime plus 2 3/4. Oops. I think I went through this one, what the bank looks for. Again, whether it's SBA guaranteed or not, bank looks for the good team, feasible business plan. They always want to have a business plan, and it will be reviewed either by the SBA or by score mentor. And they are looking for, like any other good business, they're looking for management expertise, they're looking for sufficient funds, and they are looking for borrower stake in the business, whether you have put up some money or your own money in the business. And obviously they look for sufficient collateral as well. As I said before, SBA guaranteed loan, you have to be a profit business. They do not, at least in this scheme, they do not provide loan for non-profit. Oops. Okay, loan guarantee program. Again, loan details are here, maturities and interest, and the program guarantees. Again, this is on the SBA website as well. You don't have to copy here or SBA. You can go to the SBA website and take a look at these things. Now, this one is in addition to the bank and the SBA, there is a third company. It's called CDC, Certified Development Company. So the way it gets your money gets or your business gets funded is you have some stake in the ground. You say you put in 10%, the bank say 50%, and CDC will put the remaining 40%. And this is called a 504 structure. And again, this is on the SBA website. You can use the loan for the land, the improvement, purchasing the building, almost for any business related expenses. But you cannot use this fund for any other expenses like counseling, loan origination fee, any of those things. Or even for franchising fees, you cannot use this loan. In addition to this loan, there is a SBA micro loan, direct loans up to $50,000. Again, this can be applied online. And you can talk with an SBA representative in your area on this micro loans if it is not obvious on the SBA website. Now, let's go to the last source of funding your business. What I call equity funding means you are giving up a percentage of your company for the money you are getting. The first one is a partner, right? You can partner with somebody else. You can be a 50-50 partnership. What that means is you own 50% of your business and your partner owns 50% of your business, and he puts up a 50% of your of the money that is needed to start your business. Again, it goes to whether you're starting a business from scratch, whether you are franchising, or whether you're buying a business. You can approach another company. If you already have a product or a service, you are selling to your customer is another company. I think I would really talk with your customer, that is another company, for funding your company. Again, they will probably take a percentage of your company for the money they are giving you. The other one is everybody had heard about IPO. Going public means getting rich. No. The main purpose of getting or going public is to raise the money. So you can raise a lot of money going public, literally millions and probably billions. And you can use that proceeds to marketing any of your company expenses to go big. In order to say you are making, say, 100,000 revenue, you can use your IPO to grow that company to make $1 million as your revenue. So that's the main purpose of going IPO. Then the byproduct of going IPO is, yes, you can sell a portion of your company, not all, after what they call the lockup period. Usually it's 6 months. So you cannot sell any of your shares for 6 months. Then you can sell only a portion of what you own. But your fund, say you go on getting a money from an equity, an angel investor or VC or anybody else, they can really sell all their money and they can really get rich right away. So that's the difference between you getting rich and your funding person getting rich. Now, in addition to the public market, private market as well. So there are three categories in the private market. Angel investors. So if you are just starting up, so what I would advise you is go and approach angel investor. It used to be 10 years ago, there were individual people who had money, who had made money. So they will invest in your company. Now what is happening is all the angel investors have pooled their money together and they have what they call an angel investor funding or an angel investor clubs. They're pretty big nowadays. Again, these are some of them in this Boston area. Thai Boston Angels, Harbor, Cherry, they all take a look at this on the website as well. And I have provided this link here. It's called angelcapitalassociation.org. So they have a bunch of angel investing companies here. You should take a look at that before you go to the Google. And before you apply for angel investing company, a couple of things to look for. One is take a look at their portfolio companies because they usually invest in a similar company that they have invested before. So if they have invested in the technology company, it so happens that they will invest in the technology company again. So they will not invest in a construction company if they have invested in a technology company or vice versa. So take a look at their portfolio and then take a look at who are the decision makers, right? So that's critical. So again, as before, so you apply and then you really have to contact the decision makers in a couple of weeks after you apply. So there is a common application like anywhere else. So there is a company called Gust.com, Gust.com. It used to be that they only used to service your application. Now, if you look at Gust.com, they have become another money-making machine. What that means is they want your money to sell you lots of different services. However, you can take a look at other sources of application as well. And many times, the angel investing companies, they have online application. So you should be able to apply online as well. Now, before I go into the VC and PE, one is venture capital, other one is private equity. It may not apply, one of these or two of these may not apply to any of you in the audience. It may apply to some who have gone through the angel investing round. Then you can apply for a venture capitalist. So the VCs and PE, they differ in the sense the VCs will apply in the startup and they will apply and anywhere they give you the money anywhere from few thousand to few millions. And the level of capital is invested, they will start early, whereas the private equity is for the big companies. They are in big companies who are in trouble. So the private equity companies come in and they acquire the company and they merge with some other company. So it's really not for any of the people probably here, unless you are the owner of a big company in trouble. The amount of equity that they obtain through the investments, again, is different. VCs, obviously not going to be, you should not have the VCs control your company. That means you own 51% and obviously you give the VCs less than 51%. As I said before, PE, private equity, they acquire 100%, they acquire your company. So the amount of equity is totally 100%. When they get involved, and the VCs, they get involved early, whereas the PEs obviously will get involved in a mature company later in the life cycle. Again, venture capitalist, you should Google it because then you find the latest one. As in the angel investing companies, first thing you look for is their portfolio companies, where they have invested money before, and then apply for those companies who will invest in the type of company that you are interested in, right? Again, if you are in the construction business, go and take a look at the companies who have invested in construction business. The other thing you have to do, just like an angel investors, is if you can contact their portfolio company owners, you should talk with them and see how they got their money. So you should do that before you apply. So that will give you a lot of information, how they got the money. So the two different reasons you look at the portfolio company. One is to find out whether there is the right fit. Other one is to talk to the owners of their companies, how they got the money. Private equity, again, Google them. Now, a couple of next slides are really the funding statistics. Some time ago, the SCORE organization did a survey of 1,000 companies. And out of that, they found that 63% of those companies got initial money from the personal or the friends. Okay. Personal funds, sorry. 11% got from the friends and relatives. 11% got from bank loan. 9% from credit card. And only 2% got the grants and only 1.7% from the crowdfunding. So you know where to go for the money. So once they got the money, purchasing equipment was 63% of the money went in there. Marketing, 48% of the people spent the money. Product development, 27%. Hiring the staff, 25%. Obviously, pay your own salary. Don't forget to pay for yourself, because if you want to sustain, so you need to get money to sustain yourself. So obviously, they're paying their own salary is also critical and important. So with that, Teresa, I think we're good to entertain some questions.
Yeah, I do have some questions. So what can you do if your topic is not listed in the SBIR topics?
Say it again.
This is when you had the slide up for the SBIR. What if
No.
your topic isn't listed?
When you say a topic is not listed, so that means I need to understand, did you go into any of those agencies and departments and took a look at what is available? There are two ways to apply, okay? One, probably what you're referring to is soliciting the applications. So there is a topic. However, what I did was, you don't have to apply for a solicitation. You can apply unsolicited. What that means is take a look at any of those departments and just directly apply. You don't have to wait for the application to be open. So that's what I did, right? You can apply directly and make sure that it fits their mission. So you have to really look at their mission. What is DoD mission? What is the Department of Energy mission? So as long as it fits, then you apply. And sometimes it doesn't have to fit. So as I said before, I got a $3 million from NIST. What I applied had nothing to do with their mission. But they thought I had a great idea, innovation. They thought it is going to help other businesses as well, not just my business. So that's the reason they funded my business. So there was an innovation in the idea. However, there is innovation in the business. So either way, you can apply. So as I said before, the person, you can directly call me or make an appointment. You can go through in a lot more in detail.
Can you define or explain what an incubator slash accelerator is?
As I said before, both are the same. Don't worry about incubator and or accelerator. You can Google through incubator and or accelerator. So what they mean, what they are, is you have a great idea and they will take a look at your idea. You have to pitch. Literally, you have to pitch for them. They may look at your business plan. Many times they don't even look at the business plan. They look at your pitch, what they call a pitch deck. It could be 10 pages or less, fewer. So what is your idea? What is your competition? How are you going to compete? How are you going to generate your revenue and how long it takes to get some revenue and how long it takes to exit? Okay, all this criteria. So then they will provide you the seed money, and sometimes if you need an office space, they provide you the office space as well for free. As I said before, MIT is a great example of an incubator, right? In a probably less than half a mile, they have a huge incubator space. There are so many multiple. Last time I visited them, maybe there were about 15, 20 companies. They were incubating those companies. Same with the Harvard Business School. It's called iLab. It's a same it's an incubator. So there are some private incubators as well, not just associated with the universities. There are quite a few private incubators as well. I have listed some in the presentation, but Google them. So you'll see a lot of incubators.
Okay. I do not have any other questions posted. So I do want to let people know that I know there's a lot of links in his presentation. I will email that information to you so that you have that list of the different websites and the links that he presented. We'll also send you the recording so that you have that. Someone did ask, and I just want to confirm it. If you would like to meet with Shankar or any of our other SCORE mentors, you can go through the score.org website, of course, or you can email me directly. I'm fine with that, and I can help you connect. That'd be outreach@scoreboston.org. outreach@scoreboston.org. And I have their calendars and I can help you get scheduled. And of course, if you'd prefer to meet with someone in your own chapter, then definitely go through, or your own area. If you're not in the Boston area, definitely go through the score.org website. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Reach out if you have any more questions, and we watch for that email with the information from today's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.